Thank you for joining us. I hope that you've got power back on at your place. If you don't, you're probably not listening. But anyway, it's really been something, hasn't it? Well, remember that Jesus had cleared the temple for the second time, and this time he's come back to Jerusalem for the last time before he's going to be crucified. And he has really tipped the balance because he hit them in their pocketbook and he also hit them in their ego. And those are basically the two most important things to a lost person. And so he knows it's coming, but he came for the purpose of being put to death on the cross and then rising from the dead so he could save us. But the next day, he comes back into the temple and he's teaching in the courtyard area. And it says the scribes and Pharisees came to him and they said, "By what authority are you doing these things? Who gave you this authority?" The authority to drive people out of the temple. And also he was healing people. And Jesus responded and said, "I'll ask you a question." Now remember, every time Jesus asked a question, it wasn't because he was looking for an answer. And in this particular case, it's not because he's dodging a bullet. Every time he asks a question, he asks that question so we will examine ourselves. And so he puts it back on them. I'll ask you a question. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or was it from men? And they began considering the implications among themselves. They said, if we say from heaven, then he'll say, well, why didn't you listen to him? And if we say some from men, they'll probably stone us because people consider him to be a prophet. So they said, we don't know. We don't know. Yeah. And you see, the point was that Jesus was telling them, the question of my authority is really the question of John's authority, and it was the question of Moses' authority. The question is, do you believe the Bible or don't you? Way back in John chapter 5, this is like in his first year of ministry. He said to these same guys, he said, if you believed Moses, we're talking about the first 5 books of the Bible. If you believed Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote of me. But if you don't believe his writings, how will you believe my word? So their issue was that they didn't believe the Bible. They were religious leaders and they didn't believe the Bible, but they did use the Bible to get their way. And they did use the Bible to try to make themselves look good. And you know, a lot of people do that. Have you noticed that people that really like to drink love to talk about Jesus turning the water into wine? Using the Bible to try to make yourself look good. Yeah. And so back to this particular thing, Jesus is saying your issue is not with whatever authority I have, but it's with whatever authority John has, whatever authority Moses has. Do you believe the Word of God or don't you? And you see, if you really believe the Word of God, it will bring a change in your life, a good change. But some people would rather put somebody to death than change. God bless you. Have a great day.